Philip,
Yeah, Daniel.
I finally got around to seeing Aquaman.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious right now.
Yes.
And you know what? It was pretty decent.
Oh, yeah?
It kind of got me into like the DC spirit, DC mood.
Okay. So like you want to do a whole episode about Aquaman?
No. I want to talk about Batman.
Daniel, it's been so long.
It's been a while since it's just been you and I.
Just the two of us.
I think
we can podcast if we try. Just the two of us. We're gonna make you laugh or die. Just the two of us.
Do it.
If you listen, you're
This
all right.
podcast rocks.
Just the two of us.
And this is our new song.
Yeah, that was great.
All right. Next week, that'll be it.
Okay. I'll edit it on in there. Yeah. So today's not about Aquaman.
It's not. I came to you with this idea probably like a month and a half ago or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So you and I, this is a good like episode back with just the two of us because you and I both love the Dark Knight trilogy.
That's
correct?
true. We love it deeply.
I love it so much that I believe with 10 easy fixes, it would be a flawless trilogy.
Just 10.
Just 10.
A
little bit. Maybe it's kind of cheating at something about what I'm going to say, but we'll say 10.
I probably, you didn't realize this, but I also made another list of 10 things that I think need to be fixed in the Dark Knight trilogy as well.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be,
I didn't know about this.
It'll be really good for us to kind of like bounce back and forth.
Okay. All right. Do you just want to go ahead and like dive right in?
Yeah. Why don't you start?
Okay. So I have an honorable mention just because it's.
How do you, this is, okay.
Well, okay. I have an honorable.
Set this up for me.
Okay. I have an honorable mention and I have like a fun thing. The fun thing doesn't have to be like, it's not to make it perfect. I just think it would be fun to have this in it.
Okay.
I'll start with my honorable mention though.
Okay.
That is, it's not detailed stuff. My honorable mention is like technical goofs.
Okay.
So like continuity errors.
Yeah.
If there are to be like any plot holes and stuff like that, just go ahead and just say like all that stuff has been fixed.
Okay.
Just because those aren't like details, they are, but they're not like fixable. Basically, my list is things that I think actually, if they had just been aware of it at the time, it could have actually have happened.
I see. Okay.
But the technical goofs, that was just either laziness or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not part of my 10. It's just because that's kind of a different ballpark.
I think I understand.
Okay. And my fun thing that doesn't have to be in there. It's not like it doesn't add to it being perfect or take away from it. Mm-hmm. But I think if even if it were to just be cameos, get the rest of the Inception cast in on this trilogy.
Oh, that's you know what? Not a bad idea.
Because okay, so in this trilogy, these are the actors that we have from Inception. We have Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Mm-hmm. We have Tom Hardy. We have Michael Caine. Mm-hmm. Marion Cotillard, I think is how you pronounce her name. I don't know.
Is that the foreign
Maul.
lady? Okay.
Yeah. Ken Watanabe.
Who's that?
He's Saito in Inception, and then he's the fake Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Oh. Yes.
The Asian guy. And then Scarecrow.
Oh,
Fisher.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's either Cillian or Killian. I don't know.
We'll just...
Killian Murphy.
Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy. There we go. Mr. Murphy. They are all in Inception and in the Dark Knight trilogy. So all that you would have to do is get Leo DiCaprio, Ellen Page, Tom Berenger. He plays Fisher's uncle in Inception.
Okay.
And then the chemist guy that drives the van in Inception.
Oh, yeah. I like that
just
guy.
put them in, like, even if
throw
it's
them
just,
in there.
Even, especially with, like, Leo and Ellen, since they're a little bit bigger actors, put, like, just pack makeup on them so that it doesn't even look like, you know what I mean? Especially Leo, because you don't want to take away, like, you know, anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe you could make, like, Ellen Page Commissioner Gordon's daughter or something like that.
Yeah, I see.
Because in the comic books, Commissioner Gordon's daughter eventually becomes Batgirl. So I don't know, just fun. That's fun. That's not like anything that, like, I think takes away or adds. It'd just be like a little nod.
I'm nodding my head in agreement.
Yeah.
Understand.
So yeah, what do you have? Let's go ahead and start with your list. Your number 10.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Since I just went ahead and said those things.
All right. So number 10 for me is, and I'm gonna do each of these with kind of like a. Well, you'll understand. So okay. I'll say it this way. Like,
right.
You know what this movie needs?
Oh, what is that, Philip? What does this movie need?
This movie needs.
Which one? The trilogy, just in general.
This would be The Dark Knight Rises.
What does The Dark Knight Rises need, Philip?
It needs way less Catwoman.
Oh.
She doesn't need to exist.
Oh.
And that's the end of that.
You don't like.
I hate Catwoman
really?
so much. Everything about her sucks.
Really?
Yeah. So that's I don't like it.
I'm appalled. I think Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is one of the best things about the Rises.
I'm not saying. I guess really in reality, what I'm saying is that Catwoman shouldn't exist at all in any universe at all. Yeah.
Why?
She's just useless. She's just useless. It's supposed to be like she's like kind of like Batman's love interest, but kind of not.
Kind of a villain, kind of a hero.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
All
Nobody
right.
cares about her.
I mean,
because if she dies, you're like, well, she kind of was bad, and if she lives, you're like, well, she kind of sucks. So who cares?
Wow. All right. I don't think anyone ever shares that opinion with you.
Just me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. Now that we got your horrible entry out of the way, my number 10. This is a very small detail.
Okay.
Let me put this into perspective. Dark Knight Rises is the only Batman movie ever to not feature the Batmobile. There are tumblers, you know, the tumbler.
Yeah.
But they're used by the villains, and they're not painted black or anything. They're like the standard.
The gray?
Yeah, like the tan army. That bugs me. That the Batmobile is not in it.
Well, the tumbler is not good enough. Like
it's not a good enough nod. A lot of criticism goes with the whole John Blake thing.
I don't remember that.
Robin.
Oh yeah.
I see things all the time on the internet. It's like implied endings of heroes that have terrible deaths after the movie's done, and they're always like, John Blake or Robin would die immediately if he started trying to fight crime because he didn't have the training that Batman had.
Oh, I see. He was a police officer, though.
He was a police officer, for sure. There's one shot at the end when it's like his backpack, and there's a little note in there, and it has correspondent numbers on there to show him where the Batcave is that like Bruce Wayne left for him or whatever. Yeah. All that you have to do is just put a number on that piece of paper, and then put some comic book character, some martial artist name, some obscure comic book character that wouldn't be like affiliated with like Superman or anything like that.
Okay.
To be like, this is this guy's number, and it just implies that Batman left him that number so that he can go train with him.
I'm trying to wait. So connect this to the Batmobile?
Well, so at the end he goes into the Batcave.
Yeah.
And he's walking in the water, and like the thing like starts rising.
Yeah,
up.
right.
Just in the corner, have a Batmobile.
Just hanging out.
Because it's the Batcave. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And like because he left Commissioner Gordon the new spotlight, the new bat signal.
Yeah.
He could have left Robin one of the tumblers.
Yeah.
It just a little detail doesn't have to. Both those things doesn't have to even be brought up. Just have it there so people can't nitpick that like apart.
I see. I like how you snuck a second thing in there, in the midst of your Batmobile.
Well, if you don't like that, then I could technically move the name on the little card to my number 9.
Okay.
So if you don't like, I just put it there because it would be happening like almost simultaneously.
Okay. All right. So should I go next?
Yes.
Now,
Yep.
are you all done? Okay.
I'm done.
So you know what this movie needs?
Which one, Philip?
All of them.
What do all these Batman movies need, Philip?
Way more explosions.
Oh. From who?
Just too few at the moment. So like Dark Knight Rises,
Yeah.
good amount of explosions.
Yeah,
Could
I
use
agree.
more.
It has like it's like perfect for me.
Dark Knight, just Dark Knight.
Yeah. The Dark Knight.
A good amount of explosions, but way
enough.
less than Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
So
You're right.
and then just the first one, probably none explosions happening. Maybe 3.
Maybe 3.
Got to be at least 100.
There's at least 2 that I'm thinking of right now.
I looked up on the internet to see how many explosions are in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Trilogy?
And you know how many there are?
How many?
I don't know because nobody counted it because there's not enough.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay.
So tell me your number 9.
Okay. My number 9 is more references
Okay.
towards like Batman lore.
Okay.
So a good example is in The Dark Knight Rises. When Robin goes to Bruce Wayne's house, he like goes up and knocks on the door, and Alfred's like, "You don't have an appointment," and he's like, "If I bring a warrant for Bruce Wayne's arrest for Harvey Dent's murder, like, does that not count as an appointment?"
Yeah.
So he goes in and has like a conversation with Bruce, and they're talking about the sewers because Bane's men are like, hiding out down there.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, "Well, didn't your superiors help you out with this, with the sewer problem?" And Robin's like, "They asked me if I had seen any giant alligators." That's an obvious reference to Killer Croc.
Oh.
He's a Batman villain, but obviously they're not going to put that villain in the movies because they're supposed to be more realistic.
Yeah.
Just have more things like that.
Yeah.
There's another one. You know the guy in The Dark Knight that's like trying to blackmail Morgan Freeman? Mm-hmm. He's like, "I want $1 million or $10 million a year for the rest of my life." So his name is Reese. His last name is Reese.
Uh-huh.
And when you say, and he's called Mr. Reese, which sounds like mysteries.
Oh.
Just like Edward Nygma, the Riddler is Enigma.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that was kind of a little
Just a little thing
towards like the Riddler. So more like do more stuff like that.
I agree. I like that.
There's a part in The Dark Knight as well when Batman goes to get Maroni, the crime boss, and he's in some club, and Batman's just like going through his men like up on this little balcony thing. In the comic books, the Penguin has a club. It's called like the
yeah. I think I remember.
Ice Lagoon or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like have an establishing shot of that building and just have it be the Penguin's lounge, his club. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You don't have to bring up the Penguin whatsoever. Like you don't have to have like a little short Birdman walking around, but just be like, oh, it's possible that he lives in this universe and he's just a mob boss that owns this.
It is called the Iceberg Lounge.
The Iceberg Lounge, that's it. And just have that like on a sign behind Maroni or something.
Yeah.
Little things like that, I think, would make fans more excited. Like, oh, that's so and
that
so.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like one, when there's scientists or whatever, have one of them be called Victor Freeze, which is like Mr. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Slip in nods and references here and there throughout the trilogy, and I think it would make it feel a little bit more Batman-y.
Yeah.
Even though this is my personal favorite take on Batman, even though it's hardly anything like the comic book Batman. And I love comic book Batman as well. I just have a special place in my heart for these movies. Just, I don't know, put it in a little bit more.
Slide it in there.
Yeah, because it's not that hard to do. He obviously did it with Killer Croc, and if that was a Riddler reference, he did it with that. So
yeah. Number 8?
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel, you know what this movie needs?
What does this movie need, Philip?
It kind of like what you were saying, some more classic comebacks from some characters. Actually, exactly what you were saying. But a little bit more.
What does that mean?
But a little bit more obvious. Such as
talking about like the Condiment King and stuff like that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back to play the Penguin.
Yeah. Is that a reference to you getting the Penguin and Mr. Freeze
yes,
mixed up
yeah,
from
it is. It sure
episode?
is. That's it. I think that would be cool.
These would cease to be some of my favorite movies if that was the case.
All right. I think my next fix will reverse all of your thoughts about
all right. We'll see.
my other fixes.
If you say tie in Man of Steel into this, then no.
No.
Okay.
I would never say that.
All right.
That's so outrageous.
No, not saying, because I'm like one of the 50% of people that actually likes Man of Steel. So that wasn't like a slight towards that. It's just these movies shouldn't coexist, is what I was trying to say. But my number 8 is they shouldn't forget that Batman is a ninja / detective.
Yeah. He's totally out of that element.
Well, because and they even set it up in Batman Begins that he trains with ninjas. Like it's not like oh, that's too comic booky for these movies for him to be this agile. Like no, they literally set it up in the first one.
Yeah.
So like throughout the movies, make him be a little bit more agile. I understand the suit is armored and it weighs him down a bit, but just have like little things here and there that like remind you like, oh, that's right, he trained with like the best assassins on the planet to do this stuff. That, and then there's like the one scene in The Dark Knight when he like cuts out the bullet hole in the wall, and then he like I don't even know. He scans it to see like who put the thumbprint on the bullet, like that scene. That's like the only piece of detective work that he does in the trilogy.
That's true.
Like have him do more things, more detective things to figure out how to defeat like the villains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
That's my number 8.
I like that. Yeah, after playing through Arkham Knight,
But the Arkham games,
the Arkham games, it's so detective heavy, which makes it a fun video game. But it kind of made me say Batman is a good detective.
Well, and that's actually one thing that they get right with the Ben Affleck Batman is he does detective-y things in those movies, or at least in Batman v Superman he does.
Yeah. Okay, number 7.
Yeah.
You know what this movie needs?
What does it need?
It needs a bigger mustache from Commissioner Gordon. It's a little too small.
You know what? I'm not going to disagree with that.
Well, I told you the next one you were going to be like, everything else you say is right now.
I don't, and I think like obviously that's not going to, the trilogy is not perfect because of that. I mean, maybe in your eyes.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, have you seen the cartoons and his giant mustache?
In the animated
Batman
series?
animated series, the definitive Batman.
That's, I mean, a lot of people say it.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep talking.
Well, I didn't really have anything else to say. I don't know.
I'm just looking something up really quick.
Are you looking to see how large his mustache is?
No.
In comparison to a normal sized mustache.
No.
His is only slightly bigger instead of very large.
Can we talk for a second just how good of casting these movies have, though?
We may.
Other than one person, which I will get to here in a little bit. Commissioner Gordon, like Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon.
It's great.
I think is on par, is tied with J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Those two, I think, are the greatest comic book castings ever.
I mean, even better than Tobey Maguire?
Okay. You know what? As I've gotten older, I've come around a little bit to Toby.
It's only because you grew up with him.
I don't think so, because I didn't like him growing up.
Yeah, but then you're
my nostalgia is taking over. It might be. But yeah, I think those two trump everything else.
I'm trying to think of somebody that's been cast better, but I don't.
I mean, obviously, like, okay, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man's great. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is great. Like, there are great, fantastic ones. But those two,
they feel like those characters.
Yeah, like I don't think that those are actors.
Yeah.
When I'm watching them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I think it says something to be cast as a supporting character and outshine the major players.
Yeah.
That's just me though.
I know. I see it.
My number 7, and this is a deep cut.
Okay.
And this bugs the freaking crap out of me. Young Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins. First off the bat, he sucks as an actor. I'm sorry,
that kid.
I'm sorry, that kid. I think your name's Gus something. I don't know.
Gus Dulame.
I think it's Gus Lewis.
Oh.
I think.
Did you catch my Breaking Bad reference right there?
You say Gus Lame?
Gus Dulame instead of Gus Dufresne. Is that his name?
Gus. Are you thinking of Andy Dufresne?
I am thinking Andy
Shawshank?
Dufresne.
Gus. I don't remember Gus's last name from Breaking Bad.
Never mind. Gus is.
I just think of him as Gus.
Los
Gustavo.
Hermanos. I just made an awful joke then.
It's okay.
It was like 2 names.
It's right along there with your other jokes.
My jokes are perfect.
Young Bruce Wayne, not very good. When his dad gets shot, he kind of just looks at him.
Yeah, he does.
By the way, his parents are great. Whoever I don't think I've ever seen that guy who plays the dad in anything else, but he's fantastic.
Maybe
he's really good.
It's maybe it's the little kid's parents.
Maybe it is.
Maybe that's how he got the part.
To be honest, it probably is. Anyways, you know who looks a lot like a young Christian Bale?
I don't. Not one bit.
Logan Lerman.
Oh yes, yeah.
I've talked to you about this specific thing.
The little
before.
kid from that other movie.
Yes, the main character from like Fury.
He's the main character of Fury.
He's the kid in Fury.
Oh, I never even
the young guy.
You said that to me a few months ago about this kid,
Yeah.
but you didn't ever say Fury.
I'm sorry.
And
He was
I
in
never
like
thought about that.
he's in like the Patriot. He's like one of the young.
But when was
in
he
it.
a kid? He was a kid in a movie, and he's like on a horse or something. Isn't that a thing?
Oh, 310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think him and Christian Bale literally play siblings in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's how much they look like each other.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know how far apart these kids are in age, Philip?
I don't.
1 year to the day.
To the day.
Logan Lerman and this Gus kid are literally, I think, January 19th.
You memorized their birthdays.
Logan Lerman was born in 92, and this other kid was born in 93. So Logan Lerman's a year older. But they already changed. I think Bruce Wayne's supposed to be like 8 when his parents get shot.
Okay.
Already, the kid was too old.
Yeah.
He was 12 or something like
Yeah,
that.
jeez.
So already, like, okay, we're changing the age, change it 1 more year, get Logan Lerman in there, who's a great actor and looks just like Christian Bale. Mm-hmm. And it would have, like, sold that section of the movie a whole lot more. Because Logan Lerman knows how to act. You've never seen that other kid in anything else.
That's true.
Because he sucked.
He did stink. He's a big stinker.
I'm sorry, Gus. I hope that you're very happy.
He's got a cool name at least.
Hey, that's true. Gus is a pretty cool name.
He probably doesn't care what you say.
That's true.
He's like, my name's Gus. That's what he
He's
sounds
a
like.
truck driver now.
He's got a trucker hat and he says, my name's Gus.
Actually, it's a good like trucker name. I'm Gustavo.
Need to get some gas. Some diesel for my sweet engine.
He probably has like Batman stickers all over his truck. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Batman. That's how he sounds.
And you know what's funny is that wasn't even the actor. I said, remember, I was like, let's talk about how good the acting is. And I said, except for one that I'm going to talk about later.
No.
That wasn't even the one I was talking about.
Well, I've got one too.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll do that later though.
Okay.
You know what this movie needs?
Which one, Philip?
specifically the last two.
Okay, what is that?
These movies, they're just a little too racy for me. Have you ever seen Aaron Eckhart? His big old butt chin needs to get blurred out because it's just a big old butt.
Oh my!
That's
Aaron Eckhart.
That's what this movie needs.
I like him a lot. What is there another thing?
That was it.
That's the only reason it's racy.
It's a little too racy.
Okay. And it's just because there's a picture of him in the third one. Is why you said that.
Yes.
All right. I guess there's a couple flashback like clips, but
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's enough. Well, you know what my number 6 is, Philip?
No. What's this movie need, Daniel?
This movie, Dark Knight Rises, needs a better death scene. Big spoilers from Talia.
Is that
It's Maul.
That's Maul
from Inception. Her death scene sucks. She's like sitting there, and she just like it says it's so bad that I don't even know what she says because I'm always so distracted by how badly she is. She's a great actress too. I don't know why this was so difficult for her to act.
Okay.
If she did it as a joke, or
they just kept it.
But she's like sitting there spilling out something about her dad. I don't know. And Batman and Catwoman and Commissioner Gordon are just like staring at her. She like runs the truck off the bridge, and she's like. And she's like breathing really heavily and like convulsing in her chair, in her seat. And then she's like, I do know what line she dies on. She goes, "My father's work is done."
Oh,
And
Daniel just did a very convincing death scene. Probably better than her.
Probably. And she like falls forward. And then the three of them, they just like turn away from her. They're like, all right, whatever. They just like go on. Just, I don't know, have her maybe like apologize or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, she just kind of...
They do that twist, which is fine. I like that twist at the end. It's a little predictable.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But then like it doesn't really go anywhere. That character doesn't really have like a...
Yeah.
I mean, she dies, but she doesn't really have like an ending.
Kinda...
And you know what's funny? Not funny, but a lot of people have a problem with Bane's death. Mm-hmm. I actually kind of like it. I like that he just gets out of the last fight scene very quickly.
Yeah.
Because Catwoman comes and like shoots him with the missile thing.
Right.
It's like, oh. Because, like, you think that main villains should have like these epic deaths. I guess that's what they thought with Talia. Like,
yeah.
But they're like, no. Let's get Bane out of here like right away. I kind of like it. I like the bluntness of that scene.
I mean, he should have fallen to his death.
That would like if they were like on the top and he just fell out the window. That would be nice. But Harvey falls to his death.
That's true.
So I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I like that. I like when Bane dies because it's the turning point for Catwoman. It's more important that Catwoman comes back than for Bane to have like an epic death. Like it's more important to the story.
Yeah.
And for it to use Bane as like a catalyst for Catwoman to come back, I kind of like it. So it's Talia's death that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you know what this podcast needs?
Is it money?
Yes.
What? How can people give us money, Philip?
People can give us money through a little thing called Patreon.
Patreon's pretty rad.
Patreon's pretty
peculiarly Patrad. Patreon's rad. Patrad. There we go.
Yep. And so if you go to patreon.com/classic countdown conversations, you too can give money.
Yeah. Make this Philip and I's full-time job.
Please.
Do it.
So
we
far,
enjoy these so much.
Guess how many people have signed up for Patreon, Dave?
Probably none.
Exactly. So, what you could do is be the first one.
Oh.
If you're the first one, guess what? It really just depends on your tier. Because if you do the first one, you get to become our best friend.
Okay.
What else do you become?
You get behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah.
behind the scenes videos.
Some vids of me and Daniel doing some stuff.
Maybe some pictures.
I don't know.
Some stills of us posing and whatnot.
But you'd be the first one to know about it.
Yeah, you would. We don't even know yet.
We don't know.
Because we haven't had anyone.
Because we haven't had to make that decision. Could you please make us make a decision?
Let's do it. Let's be a team here.
Yeah. And you know
your
what?
part as our team.
If
be a
you're
team
just
player.
Mr. Richie Richardson, you could give a little bit more money and you'd get a mug out of it.
Yeah.
At least this year,
you get a mug.
Next year, who knows what you'll
Who
get?
knows?
Maybe like a signed piece of paper from me and Daniel.
A signed picture, not of us, of our friend Ethan.
Yeah.
It'd be him.
Yeah.
I have that picture of him on the pennies, and if you don't know what that means,
wow.
then you'll just have to give us
Talking
more money.
about being
and you can,
too racy.
And you can, yeah, being a little too racy. You can get a picture signed. Maybe we could get Ethan to sign it as well, since he's the main person
I think
in the
that would
picture.
be good. He's been on the podcast.
He has been, very briefly. Which, by the way, what was that?
I don't know.
All right. But yeah, you can get an autograph picture of Ethan from me, Philip, and Ethan for year 2.
Yeah. Well, and probably something else legit.
Probably not, though.
That's all.
Yep.
You know what these movies need though?
Hold on, can I guess?
Yeah, I'd love to guess.
Wait,
I'd love to
is
hear
this
your
one
guess.
easy? Which one would be the easiest to guess?
If you guess any of the rest, I'll give it to you.
So, something about the Joker.
There's 2 more things about the Joker.
The Joker.
Let's hold on to those. Give me another one that you
Okay.
might think. I think you can guess one of them.
You think I can?
I think so.
That the Italian guy from The Dark Knight needed more screen time.
No, you know what this movie needs?
Which one?
It needs to be way longer.
I would be fine with that.
The Dark Knight Rises, I think, is like 3 hours. It should go at least for 5.
It's 2 hours and 44
And
minutes,
you know
I
what?
believe.
You know what would fill up that time? More explosions.
Oh, okay.
So fixing all the problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
More references?
More references to old
Maybe
characters.
just one scene that's just completely references. Like they're in the police station. Commissioner Gordon. No, Commissioner Gordon's in his hospital bed because that's where he spent
Yeah.
most of the.
Oh, and he
filming.
goes, "Hey, you know what I need in my drink? More ice."
Yeah. And he just starts making ice puns, and Robin and the other commissioner guy, or Matthew Modine, they're just like looking around, like what's happening, and he's like, my favorite movie is Ice Age, and that actually kind of sounded like Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
Good job,
that's
Daniel.
Pretty good, Daniel. Hey, can somebody pass me a penguin?
Yeah, and then like it's just one long scene of just that. He's like, "Man, I was hiking last week, and I think I got some poison ivy."
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you. He goes,
Hey, it sure does look dark outside because it's Nightwing.
and he gets like this bowl of clay, and he just shoves it in Robin's face. He's like,
Yeah.
"Haha, clay face,
Oh man, there's nobody
man,
else.
bat."
Man bat.
I mean, Batman, Killer Moth, Mad Hatter. Okay.
Man,
Hush.
this sure was a good riddle for us.
All right. I think that we rewrote that scene. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, so that's an hour and a half
Okay.
extra time.
All right.
That's what the movie needed.
I liked it.
All of them have that scene at the end.
Yeah. Forget all the pitch perfect endings to these movies.
Yeah,
They just
yeah.
all end with 10 minutes of references towards other Batman villains.
Yeah, and then Samuel L. Jackson comes in and
I need
during
you for
the
the Avengers
Yeah.
initiative. That was your number 5, right?
yeah.
Okay. My number 5. So Batman Begins. I feel like Batman Begins and Rises just don't get enough love and attention. The
You don't
Dark
think
Knight
so?
the
Well,
Dark Knight
yeah, I
gets
guess
all
so
the
because it's because of that guy that passed away.
love. Yeah, that guy. But one thing that Batman Begins does not do as well as The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Rises is the action sequences. And this is you've been making jokes the whole episode, like we need more explosions. But you know the Doc scene in Begins when it's like his first scene is like Batman.
Yes, yeah, it's awesome. They're all
So
at the
it's
guns, and
awesome.
he just like keeps coming at him.
It's fantastic up until he jumps in the middle of them,
Yeah,
and then you can't tell anything that's going on.
yeah,
It's extreme close-ups and literally like 0.5 second like cuts.
yeah,
If you kept the same pacing and feel of the rest of the scene into that part where he's taking out like the 12 guys or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I understand he was trying to show that like Batman's very quick
yeah,
and it's probably confusing for these guys, like what's happening right now, like they can't do anything. But as an audience, that's not very fun.
yeah.
To not
You
know
can
what's
show
going
that
on.
on the actors' faces that they don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
You don't
or
need to
like
confuse the audience.
or get like creative, like show a shot from like inside one of the shipping crates, like through the crack or something.
Yeah,
and you know what I
yeah.
mean, like a wide, not a wide shot, but like a distance shot, and it's like stuff like that. Show POV shots and stuff like that to kind of make the action a little bit. It's just that it's really that one part, because that first part of that scene is so perfect of building up like this is Batman's first go as like Batman, and it ends perfectly too. He breaks through the top of the car, brings it up, he's like, I'm Batman, and he like hits him on the head.
Yeah.
It's perfect. But that middle, when he takes out the 12 guys, is a little too choppy.
I
And
see.
then probably some of the action at the end is a little bit like that as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, just streamline the action in Dark Knight Rises is like perfect. Mm-hmm. I think there's 2 times where like, again, people nitpick the crap out of stuff. Where I think there's 2 times in that movie where like someone falls down without getting hit or something. But it's because it's a wide angle and they probably did it in like one take, because I
Yeah.
think Christopher Nolan likes doing things in one take. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's a wide shot and there's so much going on. Who cares if someone falls down without getting hit? Like, it's not
Yeah.
the point. The point is that he's taking out all these guys at once. So if you kind of made it more wide shot, just like the other 2 movies, I think it would make Batman Begins not look as
just plain awful.
it's not plain awful. It's just it looks a little less professional
Yeah.
than the other 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I see it. I see it.
yeah.
All right, number 4.
Yes. What does this movie need, Philip?
Oh well, no, hold on.
Oh, okay.
I need to have a chat real quick.
Oh, all right.
Hey.
Philip just got really close to his mic.
Hey, Mr. Nolan. Can I call you Christopher? Okay. Can I call you Chris? Cool. Mr. Chris.
Okay.
I need to talk to you for a second.
Should I go out of the room?
Yeah. You know what this movie needs, Chris? This movie needs like an actual good ending.
Oh, which one? They all have perfect endings.
I'm talking to Mr. Chris right now,
All right.
okay? And I think in The Dark Knight, Batman actually just should run over to the Joker. And he says, hit me, and then he does, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh, so you're saying cut out like that last...
Yeah, there's no need for like the end that Chris put in. That's what the movie needs.
All right. Number 4. So I think this is something that I've never seen anything online about this being like brought up
Okay.
or anything. It's just something that last time I watched through the trilogy, I was left feeling a little dissatisfied. And I was like, what the heck? Why am I feeling like this? Because this is like my favorite trilogy ever.
Yeah.
And all throughout the trilogy, there's kind of this question being asked, like, is Gotham worth saving? Mm-hmm. The whole first movie is Ra's al Ghul thinking that they need to wipe out Gotham because it's the crime, like, center of the world.
Yeah.
And it needs to. I forget. Ra's al Ghul like wants it to be like a message or whatever Ra's al Ghul wants. And then like the Dark Knight, Joker's talking about like these people will eat each other if put into a situation where they would need to.
Yeah.
And then the Joker it kind of comes true in The Dark Knight Rises once the city's, separated from the rest of the world and the rich are thrown down from their castles or whatever. The third movie needed a little bit more time dedicated to the citizens of Gotham to show that like they're not all bad.
Yeah.
And they are worth saving.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like the whole moral dilemma. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit at the end of the third one, which is fine because it becomes more about the character of Bruce Wayne and him leaving it all behind, leaving Batman behind and living a life for himself. That's fine from a character standpoint. But as a story, as the plot and as like themes go, I think having like the civilians at the beginning kind of fall into what the Joker was saying would happen. Yeah. But then once they hit rock bottom, then kind of come to their senses and start building their morals and stuff back up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do it perfectly. I just know if you spend a little time on that and actually worked through that, I think it would make it a little bit more of a satisfying ending.
Yeah, I see it.
But yeah, I was like thinking about that a couple months ago, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then I was making this list. I was like, because I hadn't even like come to the conclusion of what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
I was like, let me dissect this for a little bit because I think there's something there.
Yeah,
and so that would be that.
I think that's a great little edit. I'm glad you thought of that.
Thank you.
You should send that to Mr. Chris
and make him remake the movie. Yeah. All right. What's your number 3?
You know what this movie needs?
What does this movie need, Philip?
Like you said, it needs a little different casting.
Okay.
So, Batman's girlfriend, it gets recast.
Right, yeah.
But I think for the wrong. I think that Gyllenhaal should really be Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
I think that there's just not enough diversity.
Who should Katie Holmes have been?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, you think it should have been just Whoopi Goldberg
each time?
Period. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, what I really would like is that Whoopi Goldberg would play most of the leads of women.
Oh,
kind of like
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, that whole thing. But Whoopi Goldberg, like in the middle of Dark Knight Rises, very serious.
So she needs to put like Talia.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want Catwoman in it, so she's not.
No
so
need
that part's
yeah,
out.
that's out.
Martha Wayne.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think that makes the movie nearly perfect. There's 2 more things we got to do, but
well, okay. So speaking of Rachel,
yeah,
my number 3 has to do with Rachel as well.
Really, it's like we planned that, but we
really didn't. I don't know Philip's list, and he doesn't know mine. I don't agree with Whoopi Goldberg, but I do agree. So it does.
You do agree it's a pretty good idea.
I don't. I agree. It irritates the heck out of me that they recast Rachel.
It does stink. That's why I suggested Whoopi Goldberg.
So okay, well, hold on. It makes it feel like it's not one story. I don't know.
Yeah,
it breaks it up enough to where it's like, I know it's a sequel, but it loses my belief.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
What's your
here's the thing.
fix?
I don't like either actress in that role.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't like Whoopi Goldberg either. She was in a Muppet movie and she sucked.
Only thing
I don't remember
wrong.
what Muppet movie it was, but it was the worst one because she was in it. I think she was God
Yeah.
or some take on God. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she did a pretty awful part on being God.
She was like sassy. I was like, shut up.
But pretty
So
good Batman girlfriend.
So
That's
I
what
don't.
think.
So I don't like Whoopi Goldberg. I don't like Katie Holmes or Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel Dawes. I like the character. I really do. Maybe because Rachel is completely made up for the movies.
Oh, really?
So maybe make her a comic book character, even if it's just like a little references.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the way you solve it is that like you just don't bring her up again in the second movie or something.
I don't know, but I have an easy fix.
Okay.
And here's another thing that bothers me. It's a very, very minute thing, but there's like no blonde people in this trilogy. There's like Aaron Eckhart has blonde hair.
Yeah, big old butt chin.
And big old butt chin, and Bruce Wayne's mom has blonde hair.
Okay, and she dies.
I think that's all. I think those are the only blonde people. I guess Matthew Modine, I think, has blonde hair too. But
when they were doing the coloring for the movie, you know how you make a chart of like the main colors. They're like, no blonde people.
Yeah, seriously.
That doesn't work.
And I think a perfect actress, and it even fits in with what she was doing, like what she did at the time, she would have time to make these movies. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I think these are actual fixes that could have been made to these movies.
Well, mine are too.
And that would be Naomi Watts.
Okay.
She's blonde. So maybe give her like a little nod to Vicky Vale or something. I don't know. Vicky Vale is the love interest in the very first Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Okay.
She's blonde, and she's blonde in the comic books. She's a reporter. But just don't make her a reporter. Maybe even like make her last name Vale, but her first name Rachel, or she goes by Rachel, or whatever you do. But I don't know. Maybe make it a reference. But yeah, have Naomi Watts play the part because she's a phenomenal actress, and she would have been able to do both movies. Mm-hmm. Unlike Katie Holmes, who sucks.
Yeah.
And Maggie Gyllenhaal came in, and she does a fine job, but she doesn't. She looks like she could be Bruce Wayne's mom because she's so old and wrinkly.
Oh.
I apologize. I like you as an actress. But yeah, I
As
think,
an actress or as a person?
I don't know her personally.
Oh, okay.
But I think, and Naomi Watts you know who she is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. She has like very like sympathetic eyes, and I think that character, because Katie Holmes and Maggie Gyllenhaal, you kind of just want to punch in the face when they're trying to be like macho DA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like Naomi Watts would have brought a different take to the role that would have had you feel for her a lot more, especially in that last scene when she dies.
Yeah.
Spoilers. If you haven't seen The Dark Knight, I don't think that's possible. But I think she could have pulled that scene off tremendously, and and you actually believe that Batman's sad about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that would be my fix to Rachel for sure.
That's good. I like that.
Thank you. It's much better than Whoopi Goldberg.
Well,
Apples and oranges.
you really wouldn't know until you saw it. I think I've got a vision in my head. Me and Mr. Chris are gonna discuss it.
Okay. Just go back and reinsert her.
Yeah,
It's like Kung Pao, how they go back and reinsert like the white dude into all the old Asian movies.
I've never seen Kung Pao, but sounds
it sounds like
hilarious.
it would look like that.
Well, you know what this movie needs. You know what it needs, Daniel.
What?
Sort of, actually, strangely enough, very much along the lines that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
With replacing.
Are you gonna say replace Heath Ledger as Joker? Because if you say that, I'm gonna get up out of my seat and
Heath
punch
Ledger is replaced with the animated Joker
Mark
from
Hamill?
Scooby Doo.
Okay.
So there's a few episodes of Scooby Doo that there's a Joker.
Yeah.
and I'd like him to be the Joker.
Does Cesar Romero do the voice in that? He was the Joker from the '60s Batman. Does he do the voice?
No.
Okay, who does the voice of the Joker in
Scooby Doo?
Yeah.
Frank Welker.
Oh, really? He does the Joker in that?
He does the Joker in that.
Oh, wow.
Ted Knight does the Penguin.
Ted Knight? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do know who that is, actually. If I were to say his main role. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. It was Larry Storch who did the Joker.
Oh, who did Frank Welker do?
I don't know. Caddyshack. He's in Caddyshack, this Ted Knight guy.
Oh.
If you saw his face, you'd be like, oh, I know that guy.
You can just show me his face.
Nah, it's more. We're like more in a podcast medium. I don't really want to. I don't want to ruin the element for you.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think that's a dumb idea. Because Heath is perfect in the role.
Nah.
Okay.
I think that if specifically, I want it to be animated. Like, not just that guy to play Joker, but like it to be
just be an animated Joker.
Yeah, kind of like Roger Rabbit kind of feel. Just in the middle.
Would it ever explain, or would it just?
No.
It's
of course not. Yeah, okay. You know. You're like, I know what Mr. Chris is doing.
For here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think that the Dark Knight trilogy should really just be more of a comedy. And Whoopi Goldberg.
There are like, Christopher Nolan's pretty funny.
Is he?
He's just very dry. But the humor in the Dark Knight and his movies are like, I find humorous.
Yeah.
It's just British humor. But yeah. Okay. That was your number 2?
That was my number 2.
That was awful. My number 2.
It almost was my number 1, but I've got one a lot better than that.
So my number 2 has to do with the character of Harvey Dent.
Okay.
Now, I don't find anything wrong with I very much so love the character of Harvey Dent in these movies. Or in Dark Knight, I guess. But that's the problem. He's only in 1. I think the Dark Knight does as good of a job as it can in the length of one movie to show Harvey go from good guy to bad.
Yeah.
Brilliantly done for one movie. Mm-hmm. What I would say is set him up in Batman Begins. Because Rachel has like her DA buddy partner. Yeah. That gets shot in the back once he sees the microwave emitter in the shipping yard. So like he's okay. Her partner's dead. They have to elect a new DA. That's where Harvey Dent can come in.
Yeah.
So have him kind of come in like halfway through Begins, and really like write him to where you just fall in love with him.
Yeah, the best man ever.
Yeah, like he's charismatic. He's kind. He's charming. He cares for Rachel. Like all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, and set it up to where like, oh, she might actually fall. Like if once Bruce says no, or once she tells him, I can't date you as long as you're Batman.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it makes sense that she would go to this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She works with him every day. He's genuinely a really good guy, all this stuff. And then go through the Dark Knight, how it does. And I think that would leave you a little bit of room in the Dark Knight if you cut out his introductory stuff in the Dark Knight movie, since you introduce him in Begins. That would open up a little bit of room so that the time that he gets burned to his death doesn't seem as rushed. Yeah. Because that is one thing about the Dark Knight, is that whole last segment feels just a little bit rushed. Mm-hmm. And I think if you have that time earlier in the Dark Knight that's introducing Harvey, put it into Batman Begins, you have a little bit more time to spread that third act out a little bit more in the Dark Knight. Not just with the Harvey stuff, but also with like the two boats. Mm-hmm. That I think that would give you at least 5 minutes worth of time to kind of smooth that out a little bit more. Sure. And then when Harvey falls not from the scaffolding, but that as well. But once he falls from grace, once he gets burned, Rachel dies.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, like no, we loved Harvey. Like,
yeah.
And they do a good job. Like I said, as it is, it's written wonderfully. But I think it would just give you a little bit more of an impact, emotional impact. And then the third one deals with Harvey's death. So that would just give Harvey a much bigger role in the trilogy in general. And I think that was another thing that people were kind of upset about was Two-Face, the actual Two-Face character, dies like
immediately.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you do that and make the trilogy revolve around him a little bit more, I think that the fans would be like, oh, no, because like there's 3 movies where he impacts the plot.
Yeah. Do we know if Mr. Chris was planning on doing 2 more movies after the Batman Begins?
He was not. So he wrote all of them as individual things. Obviously, each one starts out after the other. So like there was that. But he made Batman Begins with no... He left that opening, where it's like Joker left a calling card.
Yeah.
He left that open just if it did well.
Okay.
And if he ever wanted to come back, he could.
I see.
But it was originally there's a lot of different stories about what the third one was going to be about.
Oh.
There was I think he had a hand in writing the movies, I believe. But when they were making the second one, Harvey Dent actually wasn't going to die at the end, and he was going to be the main villain of the third one. Once he ends up dying at the end of the second one, they were actually going to have the third one be the trial of the Joker.
Oh.
But then Heath Ledger died.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's not going to be my number one, anything to do with the Joker. Because like I said, these are fixes I think could have actually been made. You can't help that Heath died. Yeah. So I'm not going to say like my number one isn't going to be Heath Ledger be the main villain of the third one or anything like that. I think The Dark Knight's a perfect Joker story. Yeah. Just leave it at that.
Well, you know how we were talking about how Mr. Chris has a pretty good sense of humor? Yes. I actually beg to disagree. And you know what this movie needs?
More humor?
A little more humor. Specifically when Batman is he's getting roughed up by Bane.
Yeah.
He's getting punched up, he's getting hurt real bad.
Right.
And then just like Batman just like they're like, I'm going to pretend that they're like, like really like in wrestling when they just kind of like are holding each other.
Yeah.
But like they're like really doing something, but it kind of doesn't look like anything.
Yeah.
And Batman, it just quick close up of Batman. He's like, Bane, more like lame. And just Bane is like taken back and he can't believe what Batman just said. And that's what leads to Bane breaking Batman's back.
I thought you were going to say Batman was going to get the upper hand on Bane after that.
No. The rest
he
of the
just
movie's
gets
fine.
angry after that?
Yeah, that's what makes him angry. He really didn't care that much about Batman. He was like, Batman's kind of in my way.
Nuisance,
yeah. And then he's like, whoa, no.
He
called me.
He made it personal.
Yeah. That's I think that would help a lot.
So your top 10, like, other than Commissioner Gordon's mustache, it was all wrong. Every single thing about it.
I mean,
that would be funny. Maybe we can make some parodies.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have been in the actual
I think
movies.
it should. I think me and Mr. Chris will have a conversation.
I do
about
like that Bane lame thing. That's a very Philip joke, and I appreciate it. And I found it very funny. But no, these movies are far, far above that.
Yeah. Well,
that gunk.
Maybe we just have different visions for a good movie.
I'm beginning to think that like our love for these movies are very different types of love.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay. That's fine. Do you?
Do you have? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Before you go to your number one, do you have any jokes that you'd like inserted into these movies?
Do I have any jokes?
Yeah, I feel like you've probably got one up your sleeve that you wish happened. I don't want to assume anything.
I wish, and again, this wouldn't make it perfect. Like, if you don't put this in, it's not going to not make it perfect.
Well, then don't even say it.
No. At the end, because Batman says a little joke to Joker.
What's he say?
Right before Joker's about to blow up the ships, he's like, on that note, you want to know how I got these scars? Batman's like, no, but I know how you got these. And he like shoots his forearm blades up into his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I wish Joker would have been like, boy, and then Batman kick him off the thing.
Okay. See, that would make it way better. Even that would play pretty well into Joker's character. Like, that Joker's not very funny. Heath Ledger's. I
like him because he thinks he's funny.
Yeah, but
he's sadistic.
But that would really pull all the punches that needed to happen for Joker. So what's your number one?
That's what I would say to put in there as a joke. Maybe that, and maybe just give Alfred like Master Wayne.
Yeah. Yes. Wait. Yes.
Be like,
yes, my surrogate father.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why?
Let me take that back. Why did the chicken cross the playground?
Why?
To get to the other slide.
Oh. I think, yeah.
Anyways, my number one. And don't take this the wrong way, because I think a lot of people overlook the effort that Christian Bale put into his performance as Batman. Because I think he thought it through a lot. I really do think he did. But Bruce Wayne's character as a whole, I love it. I really do. But I wish we saw a little bit more of why he's doing what he's doing. Because I understand.
Begins?
What?
Like in Batman Begins, or like just throughout?
Just throughout, like like a lot in Batman Begins. I think he's doing it because his parents died, and that gave him like hatred for crime. And he's trying to rid it so no one has to go through what he went through. Yeah. Like, I get that. That's a great setup for a superhero, or for just a character in general. But after its initial thing, it's not really brought up again on why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah. It's just kind of focusing on what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wish that there was just a little bit more, even if it was never like brought up, if it was just a little bit more under the skin, like just boiling right under the surface of Batman. You know what I mean? Of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would just be like if he just played it a little bit more somber.
Yeah.
If like, it when he was just doing his own thing. If I don't want him to be drinking, because that's kind of against like he's always trying to be on his best.
Guard.
Mental
state.
But stuff like that, just like little nuances, little subtle details. Maybe just like little clips of him walking past pictures of his parents on like the piano or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
And it's kind of like maybe just one shot in one of the movies, probably like Begins or Dark Knight.
Yeah. Well,
where it's just completely wordless, and he's just kind of walking through the mansion.
Yeah.
Or the penthouse. I guess he's in a penthouse in the Dark Knight. And him kind of just look at it.
Yeah.
No words said.
Yeah. I think that there could have been more play with him and Alfred to make that connection.
Yeah, I feel Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises has a lot of emotional stuff with Bruce and Alfred. Mm-hmm. But with The Dark Knight, it's mostly humorous interaction between them. I mean, obviously, Alfred gives him like the story of the bandit, and like some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe put in you're right. Maybe like put in a couple scenes in The Dark Knight where there's the one. Yeah, there's the scene where like after Rachel dies, he's just like sitting in his chair.
Yeah.
And that's a great scene. Like it's showing that scene shows like he just can't win. Batman can't.
Yeah.
And I think that like in that scene, I feel for him. It's like I'm doing everything I can, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just wish it was a little bit more in the forefront than what it is. Does that make sense?
I see it.
But other than that, like I know a lot of people have like problems with his voice as Batman. I love it, and I'll tell you why. I had never ever before those movies, I had never thought the fact of a superhero having to disguise his voice
Yeah.
so that people don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And also he's trying to frighten criminals.
It is.
Like when he holds Flash upside down.
Yeah.
And he's like, where are they hiding the drugs? Like, I would be like, what is like, I would like have a heart attack. Like, what is happening right now? So I love that aspect of his performance. I love his snarkiness, like when he's Bruce Wayne. And I love when he is somber, it really shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wish that his motivation, it doesn't get lost, but it kind of, because it doesn't really get pushed to the side either. It's always there, but it's never really in the forefront, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
So that would be my major change, just because it is the trilogy's about him.
Yeah.
So that was my number one was gonna be the Harvey thing, and I was like, I need to make it have to do with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
I think if somebody disagrees with me or Daniel, first of all, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Second of all, you can
As always.
try to suggest that you were right by commenting
Yeah. Tell us what you would change.
on our post. You may do that online on classiccountdownconversations.com. You'll see it, and then you'll be putting your name in, and you'll say, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You'll realize it.
Because we'll bring it up.
Yeah, you could still leave a comment.
We'll say why you're wrong.
We'll explain it. We'll combat you. We did it with Corey. We brought him on the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, he kind of did it with us just a second time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can people do?
Where else can they find us? Maybe some, I don't know, maybe some website that a lot of people don't use anymore.
Oh, I see. It's that joke that we do. You can find us on
www.webkins.com.
Yeah. We have our very own Webkins webkin.
Yeah.
He's
a narwhal.
It's a narwhal, and it's
his name is Douglas.
and he's got CCC tattooed on his face.
Yes, he does.
He's edgy.
Yeah. His name is Douglas Marcellus.
Yeah, those are some great names.
But if you didn't hear, if you thought that something should be changed in this trilogy and you didn't hear it today, then it's because I think it shouldn't be changed. I went through.
There are actually only 10 things.
And I literally was like, this is all. I was struggling to come up with this many.
Well, 20 things. Because of my list.
Oh.
So you can also rate our podcast because you love it so much.
Give us like a thing.
I'd like to say, though, we have 10 ratings, 10 5-star ratings on our,
Do we really?
on our Apple Podcasts app. Thanks very much to all those people that like us.
Yeah.
A
5
shout
stars.
shout out to Eric Mormon, who I hear listens to every episode.
I think a couple people do listen to every episode. I think Austin does.
Shout out to Austin Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife.
Jenny,
Shout out to Jenny.
Lauren, and Brent.
Shout out to Lauren Brent. Y'all are awesome.
I think Anna listens to them as well. Anna Collier.
Oh, well, thanks, Anna.
Yeah.
Like we said in the middle of the podcast, check out patreon.com.
And tell us who your favorite Batman villains are.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably better than telling us that we're wrong.
Yeah. Who are your favorite Batman villains? Maybe one day we'll do a top 10 Batman villains list.
You know what we should do someday is a suggested topic.
Yeah. Maybe we can do that. Like, if we get enough, we can make it like a regular occurrence.
I like it.
I like it too. Have a good week, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.